I came to know Donna over the 5 years or so that she and Paul were such an integral part of our church at Bonsack, and perhaps even more so because of their participation in our music ministry and of her and my love for the piano. Donna Peak was a gentle Christian disciple whose gift of music and gift of hospitality were a blessing for many. She loved her husband, she invested in her children, and she adored her grandchildren. She was a planner, she was an organizer who did not like to play it by ear or leave it to chance. She was a born teacher and a wonderful cook whose apple pie and baked bread were legendary. She believed if you raised your right hand, it would stop you from coughing. And she also believed that aloe would heal or fix just about anything. She was funny, quirky, thrifty, innovative, entertaining, helpful, always courteous and kind. She was fond of reading, loved learning history. She liked tomatoes and fresh lemonade, family time, Scrabble, arranging furniture, and surprises. She didn't like rook or sewing or high bridges or people who were disrespectful. She did like exploring back roads in a car with her husband, riding the Dixie Chopper zero-turn radius lawnmower with a 54-inch blade all over her yard, and the color yellow. And we're here this afternoon to honor her memory and give thanks for her life. She was born in 1953 in Albany, the capital of New York, into a devout Christian home out of the Wesleyan tradition. Her father, Glenn, was a salesman for electrical equipment. Her mother, Mary Loop, cooked meals in public schools for years. Donna was the oldest of 3 girls, born 2 years apart. And then, when she was a teenager, 10 years later, finally, a baby brother was born into that family. And then, 8 years later, another brother came along. Donna had the gift of music. I don't know that the gift of music means necessarily that you like music. It is that somehow there's something in your soul whereby music resonates. It can express itself in an ear that hears music. Some people can hear notes the way you see colors. She had the gift of music. Her father sang, her mother played the piano. She was taking music lessons when she was 8 years old, and then had the good fortune of being taught at 12 by a concert pianist, Wanda Neff, who was also at the time organist at Donna's church. And by the time she was a teenager, Donna was arranging quartet songs in which her father sang. In high school, she was part of the yearbook staff, but she also remained vitally involved in her church. She went to a community college for 2 years, and it was during that time that she suffered an accident that almost took her life. It was winter. The roads were icy, and the car she was driving was hit by a tractor trailer and slammed into a ditch. She lay in a coma for 3 days, could have died, didn't die by the grace of God, eventually began to recover. She transferred from that community college when she was well enough to go back to school to St. Rose College, which had an excellent music school. By the way, part of the music requirements in most any music school is to be proficient in the 4 main areas of music: brass, strings, woodwinds, and percussion. Thing is, the accident took away her ability to play brass instruments. Even so, she graduated cum laude. Paul grew up here in Virginia, Tazewell, and it turns out that Paul's uncle was a pastor and an evangelist, and he would go to New York for one of those camp meeting times, and it was there he ran across Donna, who was apparently playing piano for the groups that came in. And anyway, this pastor wanted Paul to meet this girl. Now, he also had 2 other young men he also wanted to meet her, I guess, so she'd have a selection, I don't know. But Paul went to that camp, and he knew a good thing when he saw it. And when he saw her playing that piano, he was not only glad he decided to attend the camp, he joined the choir that very night. I am not sure how things developed between Paul and Donna during that time, but I can tell you at the end of 10 days, he asked her to marry him, and she said yes. I asked him how that was possible. He said, I don't know. I just fell in love with her almost at first sight. She was not only pretty, but her love for music and my love for music just resonated together. And so they got engaged. It was summertime, but they didn't tell anybody because there was a lot to still do. And they hadn't even met or seen each other's parents. So they waited until Christmas. And that's when he asked her parents to marry Donna. Her mother looked him in the eye and said to him, "What makes you think you deserve my daughter?" He must have had a good answer because he got the family's blessing, but he still hadn't told his family in Tazewell, which he decided to do at Easter time. Now, talk about coincidences. One of Donna's uncles happened to be driving through Southwest Virginia. And the trip actually took him through Tazewell. And by that time, that side of the family knew about the wedding. And he was figuring Tazewell was so small, he stopped his car, found a phone book, and looked up her parents. Called them up and said, introducing himself, "I'm the uncle of your son's fiancée." Now the thing is, he didn't actually get her parents. He called the wrong number and got her grandmother. And after the shock wore off and she figured what was going on, she was, I guess, congratulatory, and the man left, and then she called Paul's mama. And mama wasn't all that happy that she got the news secondhand. At least finally at Easter they got to meet Donna, and he made the announcement. They waited until they got out of school to get married. They had a wedding in 1975, and at the time they had just about $400 to their name. They took a honeymoon in the beautiful Amish country of Lancaster and then went on to Chincoteague Island, where Paul got royally sunburned. first house they lived in was free. They were house sitting for a family that had a goat named Stanley, 2 horses, a dog named Saggy, and a pregnant cat. After he graduated, he actually taught piano tuning for a couple of years before moving to Cincinnati in 1978 to minister in a Christian college there. Ben was born that year, and then Janice came in 1982, and Anthony a year later. And Donna adored her children and loved being a mother, but she also was intentional and enthusiastic, not only to give them unconditional love, but to prepare them for life. Help them to become independent and stand on their own 2 feet, and inculcate in them a spiritual foundation in faith and trust in Jesus Christ. So, for example, when he